We were talking about graphing simple rational functions, and we want to look at the form y equals a over x minus h plus k. So we have the example f of x equals 8 over x minus 5. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to figure out what the vertical asymptote is. So whatever's in the denominator cannot be equal to 0. So for the vertical asymptote, whatever's in the denominator, so in this case it's just x equals 0, and we don't have any math to do there. So the vertical asymptote is just x equals 0. Then we can look at the horizontal asymptote. And in this case, we see that k is equal to -5. So that just tells us that the horizontal asymptote happens at y equals -5. And so we can graph these two asymptotes. So we have x equals 0. And then we have y equals -5. So after we have those points or those lines, then we can think about what points we want to use in order to get a better graph of what the hyperbola will look like. And we want to look at what values we're going to substitute in that are going to work well with 8. So in this case, 1s will work well, 2s will work well, and 4s will work well. And all we're going to do is we're just substituting them into the function 8 divided by x minus 5. And then whatever we get out, that's our y value. So 8 divided by 1 is 8 minus 5, and that is equal to 3. And -1, in this case, we substitute -1 and we get -8 minus 5, we get -12, -13. -8, -13. 8 divided by 2 is 4, minus 5 is -1. 8 divided by -2 is -4, minus 5 is -9. 8 divided by 4 is 2, minus 5 is -3. And 8 divided by -4 is -2, minus 5 is -7. And so we can go ahead and plot those points. So we get the point 1, 3. So we go over 1 and up 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we go -1, -12, which is a little bit off our graph, but it'll be down here. And then we have 2, -2, -1, so over 2, down 1. And then we have the point -2, -9, so -2, -9, 4, -3, so 4, -3, and -4, -7, -4, -7. And I graphed this one wrong. This should be -13, which is down there a little bit further. And then we just go ahead and graph the line that goes through and get really close to our asymptote as we go, but not crossing, and try to make a smooth curve to form our hyperbola there. Last thing we have to look at is our domain and range. And so we're looking at the domain is the x values. The domain is covered everywhere except x equals 0. So we're going to start at negative infinity. We're going to go to 0. 0 is not included. Union, not included 0 to infinity. And then for the range, the y values everywhere except for negative 5. So we're going to start at negative infinity, not included. We're going to go to negative and 5, not included, union, and then start back up at negative 5 and go to positive infinity. And then we can take a look at our graph. And we see that we have our asymptote at y equals negative 5 and x equals 0. And then we have our graph that goes through and gets really close, but doesn't actually touch the asymptote.